News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Let's see how a black woman and her father, a veteran, feel about the illegals coming in.
Tell these people, as a veteran that served this country, right? Tell them how much food stamps you get in a month.
$23. $23.
Not $2,300.
$23.
Not $230. How much you getting in food stamps a month?
$23 a month.
$23 versus a person that's not even from this fucking country versus a person that did not serve this fucking country. $13,000 they said it was on that receipt.
$23.
And you fighting to get your what?
100.
Your 100% from the VA.
From the VA.
He can't even get it. Fight. America, you should be ashamed of your self.
100%.
You should be ashamed of yourself. See if Kamala gonna fix that.
Well, she knows the answer to that. Maybe that's why the black vote is higher than it's ever been for Donald J. Trump right now. That black man, did you hear what she said, by the way, too? She and he are saying how dispirited they feel after serving this country, giving their body, their life, their service to this country, and being treated worse than an illegal alien is treated. And she says it's not even worth it. He nodded his head. That breaks my heart. I've never served. The three men in my family, my dad, my two brothers, all have, and some are still are. And I was reminiscing with my mom, and I did take a visit from a recruiter in high school because I was, not sure which way to go and all that stuff. I ended up making the choice that I think was one of the only smart things I ever did was not joining, because I have a mouth for the radio and not for the military. But it's I don't think it's righteous to do that. But the most incredible thing is when veterans call and say, thank you for what you do. I think it's wrong. I think thank you for what you do because I couldn't do what I do. But I will gladly, I'm not even capable of holding your jockstrap for you, and that's compared to you. But I will gladly take the mantle of doing what y'all like to hear most of the time on your behalf, and using the gift that I was given to be able to fight on their behalf in my way. But this invasion has broken a red line here for many people, because now you're hearing about hundreds and hundreds of actual terrorists that have come over under the Joe and Kamala policies, under her being the Biden czar. And I honestly wrote this today as I read through this, sitting at the Apple store at Galleria Mall getting my screen replaced that cracked. And they did a great job. I'm only going to buy from Apple Store from now on ever. I don't buy from anywhere else anymore. I'm done. Don't get it from your phone company. You won't get the deal you would get at Apple as far as getting treated right and getting warranties and them knowing what the heck they're doing. That's where you got to go anyways. So I'll never get one from the phone company ever again. But I read through this. I'm going to share the highlights in a second, but I wrote, Kamala, vote. Do you want to die? Will you act shocked when we are slaughtered by terrorists one day, soon? And it's not a shout or anger. It literally is, do you want to die? And will you act shocked when we are attacked and many of us do die? Could be 1,000, could be 500, could be 200. Like at the Russian theater where ISIS came in and through the flashbangs, through the lit a flame and mowed down 141 or 151 civilians and blew up bombs and just mowed them down with M16 type machine guns or AK-47s as they were leaving a theater performance in Russia, of all places. You don't want to get caught doing anything bad in Russia if you're a terrorist. I mean, dude, we don't. You can call waterboarding torture, which I don't, but you can call it torture. Waterboarding is like getting tickled with a feather compared to what Putin will do to you. With a rubber hose, with electricity, with slavery. I mean, you won't know who the hell you are. You're going to wish Allah took you on that day. And everybody knows it. That's what blows me away. This is how much these radical Islamists worship. It's not, they ain't worshiping any God. They're worshiping the devil. They worship him. They believe in him more than anything else. They follow him to this demise. And they know that's going to happen, and they still go into this country where you don't want to get caught, and they still do it. Isn't that crazy? I mean, let that sink in about how radical and how determined they are to slaughter us. I'm telling you, you do it in Russia. You got some mad huevos. You got some mad balls, dude. Okay, nearly 100 illegal immigrants on the terror watch list have been released into our country just in the past couple of years. More than 100 have been let in, like approved. There have been dozens, those 100, more than 100 illegals have been let in, stamped for approval, allowed in by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Dozens of them, they're coming in from dozens of different countries, not just one country. More than 250 illegals on the terror watch list encountered in those 2 years. And Kamala Biden released at least 100 of them. Go on in and murder and rape and kill American civilians. Listen to how many illegals Kamala Joe have let in. 2,100 Afghani nationals, 541 Iranian nationals, 520 Syrian nationals, 3,100 Uzbek nationals. All those are terrorist havens. Do the math. 5,000, 6,000, getting closer to 7,000 in 2 years. It does not include the nearly 2 million gotaways who we don't know who the hell they are, and you better believe they're on the terror watch list. From 36 different countries, they've come in from Afghanistan, Iraq, Lebanon, Pakistan, Somalia, Syria, Tajikistan, and Yemen, all terrorist havens. But now, the terrorist screening database initially only contained known terrorist suspects. So we let in all the terrorist haven places. Even if you're not on the terrorist watch list, come on in. Kill us. Please, kill us soon. It now also includes, the terrorist screening database includes people who are potential threats. So do you understand, of the 11 to 14 million Kamalas let in, and Joe, that none of them that were potential threats were stopped? Out of those 11 to 14 million illegally allowed in here, and the other 2 million gotaways, how many of them do you think are terrorist threats? I mean, dude, do the math on 14, let's do 12 million, let's go conservative. Do the math on 12 million, and what would be 0.02%, okay? 0.02%, like less than 0.5% of the illegals are terrorists. 0.02. What is that out of 12 million? 24,000 is quite possible. I mean, 2%. Okay, then, well, it would make sense because 12,000 would be 1% of 12 million. So between 12,000 and 24,000 terrorists are in our country. There's no question. 400 individuals were brought in by ISIS-affiliated smuggling network in the past several months. Listen, in the past several months, 400 people were smuggled in by ISIS-affiliated smugglers. 400 in the past several months. That's like, what, 50 a month? Are smuggled in that are from ISIS-affiliated smugglers. What the heck do you think's happening? 8 Tajikistans were recently rounded up. They already went all over the country, New York, LA, and Philadelphia. 8 Tajiks for terrorism that were let in. It goes on and on and on. Bill Malugin, here's what Representative Jim Jordan said. ICE arrested 8 Tajik nationals with potential ties to ISIS June 2024. What is that, guys, 3 months ago? 3 of these potential ISIS members were released into the country using Kamala and Joe's CBP1 app. Come on in, you passed. Come on in, kill us. Kill us all. Bill Malugin responded to this here. There was a reporter who said this report is chock full of fact-free and innuendo. For example, the claim one guy is dangerous terrorist is based on nothing more than an accusation of affiliation with a militant group that signed a peace deal with the Afghan government. Bill Malugin from Fox News, the reporter says, you can't be serious. In your attempt to downplay this terror watch list release, you continually leave out the fact that Hezbi Islami, this organization killed 2 United States soldiers, 4 United States contractors, as well as Afghan civilians and children in a car bomb attack in Kabul in 2013. You must know more than the FBI about why he's on the watch list, ? So they're letting in people from Hezb Islami, a terrorist group that killed 2 of our U.S. soldiers, 4 U.S. contractors, and Afghan civilians in a freaking car bomb attack in Kabul 11 years ago. And we're letting them in. And these people are mocking it online. He's like, dude, I'm the Fox News border correspondent and all this stuff. Are you joking? Biden administration also, Bill Melugin reported yesterday, it paused its controversial mass parole program that allows illegal migrants to fly into the U.S. after internal report unearthed large amounts of fraud in the program. So here, the program has been used by Biden administration to bring in more than 500,000 Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans into the U.S. on direct flights. The reports found significant fraud in sponsor applications. 101,000 forms were filled out by 3,200 serial sponsors. The same 3,200 people have applied for 101,000 people. Those whose number appears on 20 or more forms. It also found that 24 of the 1,000 most used numbers belong to a dead person. Meanwhile, 100 physical addresses were used between 124 and 739 times on over 19,000 forms. They're using the same damn address. Those addresses included storage units. One sponsor phone number was submitted on over 2,000 forms. There were 2,800 forms with the non-existent sponsor zip codes. It's all fake, and Biden's flowing in. I think it's 100,000 a month for a couple years now, and they don't include that in the illegal immigration numbers. So, do you understand that Joe Biden has flooded us with terrorists, criminals, and even flown directly in from Haiti, Nicaragua, Cuba, people who have fake people sponsoring that have filled out 1,000 forms with the same number and listed a mobile storage unit as their address. It's all a lie. So I guess my questions for you is, how soon before you think we get slaughtered by a terrorist or raped by a criminal in this country somewhere with this? How do you feel that Kamala and Joe, here's my questions for you at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How do you feel Kamala and Joe are doing protecting us from illegal terrorists with their nearly 4-year invasion? And what's your reaction to Kamala laughing and mocking at people who previously raised the alarm on this, as she did? It was recently reported the other day. What's your reaction to Kamala mocking and laughing at people who were previously raising the alarm on this? And how do you feel Kamala and Joe are doing protecting us from illegal terrorists with their nearly 4-year invasion here? Next, you're going to hear this. 2 illegals from China driving around with $250,000 of this in their car when they were caught by us in North Texas in Van Zandt County by Canton. That's next. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's hear what Kamala's newly announced pick for vice president says about illegal immigration.
And I think seeing a plan that's out there, talking about it with folks, knowing that he's not going to do anything. He talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory. That's not how you stop this.
He is rabidly pro-illegal. Not only that, but as governor of Minnesota in his second term, he has in his both terms, he gave illegals driver licenses. They can get driver licenses. He gave them taxpayer-paid health care for illegals. He gives them, what does he give them also? So health insurance paid for by the taxpayer. Amnesty. It's an asylum state. A haven for illegals, safe haven for illegals to flee to. They'll never get in any trouble. They'll never get nothing. They are very welcome. Kamala on illegals, she says as long as illegals are in custody, particularly illegal children, and they don't get amnesty and full rights as illegal children, they have this.
And when we all
she said we cannot have Merry Christmas. Say Merry Christmas until all the illegal children are given amnesty.
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
She cares about those illegals more than us. And she did say she wants to give them free health care on our dime. and she wants them to. There's a whole bunch of things with illegals. There's nothing she doesn't like about illegals. She loves them, and there you go. Hey, two Chinese nationals found with $250,000 in gold bars in their car in Van Zandt County here in North Texas just the other day. And they're Joe Biden, Kamala Harris illegals that just came over. At least one of them is. I'll give you the details in 1 second. I'm asking you right now, how do you feel Kamala and Joe are doing protecting us from illegal terrorists with their nearly 4-year invasion? And what's your reaction to Kamala mocking and laughing at people? As I heard on Fox News, previously reported that she raised when previous people raised the alarm on this. What is your reaction to her mocking and laughing at people who previously raised the alarm on these terrorists coming over the border? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Here we go. Two Chinese nationals found in Van Zandt County, pulled over by a car, accused of money laundering after they were found with $250,000 worth of gold bars during a traffic stop Thursday. 25 and 46-year-old military-aged illegal Chinese men arrested for money laundering between $150,000 and $300,000. They entered into the United States illegally. At least one of them did in last year. In the United States, he was encountered at U.S. Border Patrol September 15th in California, given a notice to appear in court and released to smuggle gold and money laundering. Someone asked him to take the gold to Dallas, he told police. He left China, he says. He went to Hong Kong, then flew to Turkey, then flew to Mexico, and from there just came right through the border, as all of Kamala and Joe's illegals are, so he could do his illegal trade. Shocking truth of huge male gang seen looting fistfuls of gold from Denver jewelry store at gunpoint as female staff terrified looked on. This was committed by Tren de Aragua, a violent criminal organization from Venezuela. 7 of them being sought over the heist. One, a 21-year-old, was arrested last week by Homeland Security. They caught him in New Mexico before handing him off to the Denver County Sheriff's Department, charged with a slew of crimes, including aggravated robbery, attempted murder. Experts have warned Tren de Aragua gang, believed to have over 5,000 members nationwide, has gained a foothold in the U.S. by the illegal migrant crisis. They're known for ruthless killings, sparking chaos in South America, but they're all over. They set up their new headquarters in Texas as members pour over the border. Criminals associated with Tren de Aragua have now seemingly spread throughout the nation, with El Paso Division of Homeland Security's tweeting this weekend over the arrest of him. He's a Venezuelan national. Passed him to Denver law enforcement to face charges of jewelry heist. Booked for $1 million bond. Faces charge of first-degree murder, attempted robbery, and menacing, making threats. According to the outlet, the net closed on him after a raid in a motel room on El Paso led them to his arrest. Dude, they're all over the country. They're embedded. Chicago, New York, Denver, Texas, they're all over. Kamala, she did it. She brought the most violent, terrifying gang in almost all the world, truthfully. In all of the MS-13 can't hold a jockstrap to these guys, and I'm not joking. That's where we're at, thanks to Joe and Kamala. Next, all the pro-terrorist Jew haters that were on UTD's campus protesting illegally, guess what? School's starting up, and they're banned. Aren't you excited about that? I sure am. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I am seeing a bunch of so-called influencers, black influencers, some of whom are reportedly taking money from the Kamala campaign to have them on their shows and promote them. And here's one, a streamer who I can guarantee you probably didn't share most of our values, Kai Sennett. He says he's been called. He's getting calls from Kamala Harris campaign and the Secret Service to set up a live stream with Kamala, but he wants nothing to do with them. Kamala is getting rejected by everyone, says one of these journalists, folks, commentators. And he is slamming his fist on the desk, and the camera's flying all over the place. I guess the camera just fell over. He's that angry at them for trying to stuff money in his pocket. He will not accept their donation. And their offer to pay or pay him for his talent. And let's see how many people he has following him. I guess he's that big of a deal. Oh my gosh, 10.6 million followers on Instagram. You know who he is? He's big. Okay, he literally is is it fair enough to say he's a social media megastar? I mean, that's a lot of followers, y'all. Okay, he freaked out and went after her. That's great. That's good. They're trying to pay people to give to get them to support him on Twitch. He's got 12.7 million viewers. I mean, this is insane. I can pretty much guarantee you I can't play this. Yeah. So one of the words when he says Kamala and them reached out, tried to get him to do it, he said, I don't give an F word. So I can't play any of it. No, he's all profanity all over the place, right? Okay. I'm going to send this to you, Producer Garrett. If you feel like cutting it up in the next, or cutting a chunk out of it out or something like that, you're welcome to. But if you don't, you can still truncate it. But just explain it to me as soon as you start playing it. I'm sending you the thing right now to you, sir, to look at it. And again, you can just tell me what your take on it is or what. But there's multiple influencers tonight saying that Kamala and them are trying to reach out to them. I guess hire them to be influencers supporting her campaign. That's amazing. A guy with 12.7 million followers yells F this, F that. He ain't having that crap. He ain't taking it. He doesn't want to support her. That's amazing. Okay, it's like taking money to tell people to vote somebody that's going to hurt them. It's like a turncoat to the people, you know? Wild. Okay, this is also coming in. Remember those? These people are pro-terrorist. They're pro-Hamas. They are anti-Jew, pro-Hamas. One of the organizations behind all this that I'm about to tell you about is Students for Justice in Palestine. They are a pro-Hamas group. They tweeted out, their national group tweeted out that they stand with their brothers in the Houthis, the terrorists in Yemen, who held up a banner saying "Death to Israel, Death to America." And they literally tweeted out and said, "We stand with you." Students for Justice in Palestine did. That's their charter here. So these are rabid Jew haters and pro-Hamas terrorist people. And they are on the campus of UTD. And they were arrested for illegally protesting. I'm so proud. You have no idea. I wish I could hug every member of the Richardson Police Department, the Collin County Sheriff's Department, and the state police that were there and just give them my love. I'd be like a little giddy schoolgirl hugging a cop or, my admiration of them and for their balls to go in there. And the state troopers busted out their asps, those collapsible batons. And they went wham, and they they crashed all the crap over. They took the tables. It was like Jesus in the temple, throwing over the tables. You know what I mean? And it was incredible. And they arrested them all. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I have somebody beyond extremely close to me whose son is there, and they're very happy that this happened, and they're not too surprised. Some of the Jewish folks who joined me, some of the Jewish students there have been terrorized. They have been followed and called all sorts of vile, disgusting, sick, anti-Semitic names. They're followed to their classrooms. They're followed to their apartments off campus by terrorists. In Richardson on the UTD campus, they walk after the off campus, following them to their apartment. These students had to have police waiting outside of their apartment. That's who these people are. They're terrorists. That's just what they are. They support terrorism. They are terrorists. You're either with us or against us if you're a terrorist. This sophomore studying neuroscience. So they're not. Here's the deal. They got arrested. And they're pending their charges for failure to comply with the requests of an official university, disruptive conduct that interferes with the orderly functioning of the university, a general violation of rules and regulations, and obstruction or interference with programs and activities. Thank you. I pray that they go to jail. I pray that they ain't learning nothing. They're playing victims. They had a press conference. They can go to UTD, but only for their classes. They can only go on campus for the class. And if they do anything but go to class or a class-related activity, they will be violating their bond conditions and most likely, obviously, be sent to jail for violating bond. The students arrested face criminal trespassing charges and academic sanctions for doing these, violating these rules. One of the pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist protesters on UTD's campus, who's a student there, sophomore, studying neuroscience at UTD, is upset. Classes start October 19th. She's the student. She's a student senator, and she's worried she might get in trouble for showing up to the student senate meeting. You damn right you're getting in trouble. I'm going to have to restrict myself a lot, she said. Yes, but don't worry, you can still hate Jews and still protest on pro-Hamas activities off the campus. This is in the Dallas Morning News today. My question is, how do you feel about UTD banning anti-Israel protesters who illegally rallied against Israel and its policies, illegally rallying on the campus? No permit, no permission. How do you feel about them being banned except for their classes? And how much support do you have for them, these people being banned from campus? I supported 110%. You want to do this? If you respect Dr. Martin Luther King, look at what he said. He says if you're not willing to go to jail and face the punishments for your freedom of speech, you don't stand for nothing. So do you love some Hamas or not? Your little jihad ain't nothing compared to the jihad of the Hamas people. They blow up so young. They really do. So it's such a tragic. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. How do you feel about UTD banning anti-Israel protesters who illegally rallied against Israel and its policies on campus? And how much support do you have for them continuing to be banned from campus except for official events that they're allowed to go in for their classes or class-related things? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We know from two Jewish witnesses who held a press conference with our Israeli pro-Israel organizations locally in the Metroplex. They came on my show, and one is a Jewish student who didn't even share that he's Jewish with anybody. He never revealed his Jewish identity on campus, but they figured him out because he's a Jew. They always find the Jews, don't they? And they were following the class, harassing him, calling him names, and terrorizing him. The other girl is a Jewish student who they followed off campus. They sent texts to her, messages to her under pseudonyms saying horrific anti-Semitic things, which I did post on my Chris Crock Show Facebook and Twitter feed when they came on my show a couple months ago, 4 months ago. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you support banning them and arresting them for violating parole if they show up outside of their school classrooms? I don't even think they should be allowed to be on campus at all. I think they should be forced to do streaming. I don't want a radical Islamist near my son, my daughter. My son's on one of the campuses here in North Texas. I don't want a radical Islamic near my son because you know what? We're Zionists. Almost everybody in Texas is a Zionist. You'd probably be about 90% of Texans. A Zionist supports the existence of Israel. That's just all it is. I am a Zionist. I'm an unabashed Zionist. You come for the Jews, you come for me. And I told those two sweethearts that I wish I was there on campus to stand with them. I'd have a Bible in my hand waving around as an evangelical Christian who supports our Jewish brothers and sisters. You attack them, you attack me. Let's go. There's cost to your expression for support of terrorism and terrorists. 800-288-WBAP is our number. More details on this and what can happen to them next and how they're whining. I love how they're whining. You're going to hear the world's smallest violin coming up next from these whiners and pro-Hamas supporters. Next on the Chris Crock Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. Here, there's a couple different things I just pulled up on cursory search. The Atlantic, a very liberal magazine, moral failure of campus Hamas apologists. The Atlantic, Students for Justice in Palestine declared it unequivocally supports Palestinian liberation and the right of colonized people everywhere, ... But here's another better one from CNN. Many Students for Justice in Palestine chapters have endorsed Hamas attack on Israel that left more than 1,400 dead, says a letter written with the Brandeis Center and the Anti-Defamation League. The United States has designated Hamas as a foreign terrorist organization, and many Student for Justice in Palestine chapters endorse Hamas's attack on Israel. The ADL said any financial support the chapters may have made to bolster Hamas's cause could violate federal and state laws that prevent Americans from materially supporting terror groups, and I agree. It's exactly right. they do support Students for Justice in Palestine does support terrorism, and that's who this is that is on the campus of UTD protesting illegally and being arrested. And I'm so grateful. They're banned from UTD except when they have class or class-related activities. And I'm grateful, and I wish they wouldn't be allowed on campus at all. They're terrorizing people, and they have no respect for the law and no respect for life of Jews and of Israeli and American sovereignty. Anna in Carrollton, I asked the question, by the way, of 800-288-WBAP. Anna, how do you feel about UTD banning anti-Israel protesters who illegally rallied against Israel and its policies, and how much support do you have for them continuing to be banned from campus?
I think that, I don't know where to start. I'm Italian from Europe, and in Europe is the same thing. Students are fighting against, Israel and Palestine. They're fighting with each other. Mm-hmm. And my point is this. It's not that I don't want to answer your question. Who's going to fight for Americans?
Right on.
That's what I call for. I go in Italy, and my husband is American. Mm-hmm. I tell him, try not to look Americans, because there are a lot of people don't like Americans.
Wow.
I love America. I marry America. And I defend America, even overseas.
Amen.
And whatever, we are Western culture. I put my hand on the fire as a Romans, from the Roman Empire. Nobody knows what they're fighting for. I don't know.
Kamala Harris's policies, for example, there's not one policy on her website, even though she's launched president 2.5 weeks ago. We don't know what she stands for, do we?
I know. We Western culture, even if I'm Italian, I'm a Western culture like you.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're fighting for, these people, for centuries.
Have you been invaded by Islamists? Have you been invaded in Italy by Islamists in Europe?
We have a lot of immigrants in Italy that come from the boat. They sleep at the train station. They are on the street like a dog. And they support them. Just like Kamala support the immigrant. We have the same problem in Italy.
So,
Europe.
I'm seeing horrifying reports in Europe, and I would assume in Italy too, of radical Islamists doing horrible things and taking over like a cancer. Is that accurate?
I am scared to go back to home in Europe. I'm most safe in America, because it's spacious here. And I live in a residential hood. But in the city, we all pack like a sardine. In the city, and it's dangerous.
What happened? What warnings do you have for us here in America that you see already happening and being much worse in Europe that are going to happen here soon? What warnings do you have on that regarding Islamists?
I learned in a school in Italy. I have a professor. He was a surgeon, military. He always told me, stay away from diplomatic building. Don't get in the crowd, in the riot. I'm scared to go to the mall. Don't get it in where there's a bunch of people. If they want to kill somebody, they want a bunch of people. That's what I can advise.
Have you? Are you an official American citizen now? Hopefully.
Well, where there is a freedom, there is a choice. I'm Italian.
Yeah. Okay.
I never took a time to become a citizen.
Okay.
I'm 38 years here. I came here.
So you're still you're a legal resident from Italy. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
I will become a citizen because of bureaucracy, because I own a home.
Good.
And, the law will change. I don't know. I don't even go to Social Security because I don't need it.
I would like you, but only if you're comfortable. It's like I talked to my wife, too. Only if you're comfortable. I'm not going to try to force my own wife. But if you and your husband are comfortable, you should look at, I don't know what the legal ramifications are, you owning a firearm. That way you can carry one with you. Then you'll feel much safer. And, to live your life and never have to...
We do own firearms because next door there are tenants that has 3 pit bull, and I must have killed my dogs and my husband.
Oh my God!
That's why we bought one, and now my dog is dead.
You need to learn how to use it properly, and if you and your husband have been trained properly, it doesn't have to be experts or anything.
I need to be trained.
Let me put you on hold, and I'll tell my buddy what range I recommend off the air since they're not advertisers.
Thank you.
Because they're not far from you, and they will train you in what you need. Because before you own one, you should be trained, and if you have one, fine. But get trained right away. It's not much money.
Mike cannot go on the range to one of my husband bought. I think I need to buy a little bit of one for women.
Yep, and you go there and you try them out. You rent them and you try them out, and they'll help you pick the right one with one that fits for you that you like. Okay.
I've been here so many years, and it was so fine. American 90s. Now it's changed. But I'm still here because I want to get it better.
Stay here. Our immigrants, our legal immigrants, are the best of all. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Oh, wait, I just hung up on you. Anna, call back. I'm so sorry. I just messed up. I meant to hit hold and I hit hang up. Anna, just call right back. I'm sorry. I don't want to say sorry in Italian. You know how in Spanish it's lo siento, but it's not. That's not. You can get Spanish. Call back, Anna. I'm very sorry. Call back, and we'll give you the information in that range. I apologize.